Hello everybody, happy Friday night. Welcome to my Zen Den. I am so glad that you could join me tonight. My name is Mandy Van Havermit and I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up from Gray Eagle, Minnesota. I am going to share a card with you tonight. It's actually a fun fold. It's a fun fold easel card. I was inspired by my friend Pat Banofsky. She sent a card for a swap, and I really like the fold because I like cards that you can display nicely, not necessarily as a card, but maybe as like a piece of art, maybe on your desk or on a table or your dresser or wherever you want to be reminded of the people who you love and who love you. So I'm going to flip the camera around. We're going to get stamping, and I am going to share Pat's inspiration and then another card, and then I will we'll get going on some stamping. How does that sound? So let's get this straightened out here. There we go. Sorry, I feel wonky tonight. Why am I feeling so wonky? Okay, so here's the Coffee with Friends stamp set. Coffee with Friends, I've used this stamp set before recently. I just like this stamp set, and it's kind of unusual for me because I'm not a huge one for coloring, and I'm not going to be coloring this card in either. But I just love the sentiments on this. My favorite being, sometimes you just have to reheat your coffee one more time and try again. And I think that that is exactly my life right there. So let's show you Pat's card. And I'm going to tell you now, Pat's card looks nothing like the card that I'm making with Coffee with Friends. This is Pat's card, and I thought, it's just so cute. It's so happy, and then it sits up like that. And so when you're sitting, when it sits on the table, you can see the little happy raccoon, and then it folds down nice. So I'm going to show you how to make that card, and then I'll share another sample with you. So here is our list of what we're going to need. So I have got a piece of Night of Navy, and this is 8.5 by 5.5. It's not scored or anything yet. I'm going to show you how to do that. I've got, let's see here, 2 pieces of Early Espresso. Both of them are 2 3/8 by 4 1/8. I've got 2 pieces of Crumb Cake. Both of them are 3 1/4 by 4. Then I've got a scrap of Early Espresso and a scrap of Very Vanilla, and then 2 pieces of Designer Series paper. And this is a great way to use up a great way to use up scraps. This is only 7/8 by 4 1/4. So it's a relatively thin strip of Designer Series paper. So let's set that stuff aside. I'm going to show you what to do with our Night of Navy. So first things first, we're going to score that like we normally do at 4 1/4. Okay? Then we're going to turn it, and I am going to move my cutting blade up to the top, and then I'm going to cut. So I'm going to cut a 1-inch strip, but I'm only cutting it down to that 4 1/4 line. So if my head gets in the way, I'm sorry. But if you, on the cutting blade, I'm going to hold that right up there. There's a little line, and you can see that if you line it right up with your score line, that is an indicator for you. So if you didn't realize that that little line was on there before, now you do. I'm going to flip it over, do the same thing, line it up at 1 inch over here, and then cut that down to, pardon my head, to 4 1/4. So what you're left with, let me set that aside. What you're left with is a card base that has 2 flaps that fold down and 1 big flap in the middle. Okay? So now we are going to adhere these 2 1-inch strips right down. And the only thing I can tell you is make sure that they are down flush with the edge. Okay? And I knew I was forgetting something. We need to make 1 more score line. And your score line that you're going to make on this piece is kind of fluid. You don't need to make it, and guess what? You can use this arm that I very rarely use. Get rid of your cutting blade. You don't want to cut by accident. And the reason I'm going to tell you to do that is because this is the side you want to line up so that it's nice and straight, right? So I am going to, I'd like to score this. We're going to score it right at half. So it's going to take some math. 8.5 minus, you know what, we're going to do it really simple. We're going to score it at 6.5. So this is a 2-inch score right here. Okay. This score line doesn't make a huge difference because what's going to keep it as an easel, my card, my finished card is a little different than Pat's, remember. So I'm just using that as a background for my easel. So that is where we're going to start. I'm going to burnish that. If I don't throw my bone folder over my shoulder, burnish that nice and flat. Okay. Same with the fold. Burnish that nice and flat so that it folds nicely. Okay. So let's do some stamping. I'm going to take one of my pieces of crumb cake. I'm going to take the stamp. So this lady right here. And some early espresso ink. And I'm using early espresso. There's a little bit of a method to my madness. I'm going to pull in a blender brush and I'm going to show you why. Early espresso tends to stay wet a little longer. And I know this because I've messed up a lot of images. But I'm just going to stamp this lady right down in the corner here. And then I'm quickly going to take my blending brush and I'm just going over her a little bit. And this is not going to add a ton of blending, but it's going to soften her up just a bit. And I liked that idea. If you want to add more like light blending, that really, my early espresso must be going, my early espresso must need it to be re-inked. But you can lightly go over her just a little bit. Notice how I started off. I don't want a lot of color on her. Just a little. Just to, like I said, to soften her up a little bit. I just wanted that look tonight. And down in the corner. You really, I mean, if you probably can't hardly see my blending on there. But it is just, like I said, it just darkened it up just a little bit. And it's just ever so light. So now I am going to, I should have left my ink open. I'm going to open my ink back up here. And I'm going to grab my sentiment. The sentiment that I'm using is coffee with a friend is like happiness in a cup. And I think that is just about 100% accurate. Ice cream is good too, but coffee is great. And while I've got that open, I need one more scrap because that's not a big enough scrap. I'm not doing this whole thing. I'm cutting this for a reason. There's a reason why, so it fits inside my punch a little bit better. Okay, and now I've got the Let's Get Together Soon stamp. I'm just going to stamp that on another piece of Very Vanilla. Okay, now my stamping is done. I'm going to pull in my double oval punch, one of my favorite punches, just because it is so versatile. And it fits this sentiment like a charm. And I'm going to do the Let's Get Together Soon also in the oval. And then I will punch out 2 of the bigger ovals out of the scrap of Early Espresso. All right. So we are to the assembly process here. So I am going to line up and mat these crumb cakes. One of my measurements got off. I think this one must be a little less. I'm going to use that on the inside. Hide your mistakes, right? Okay, so I'm going to adhesive all the way over, all the way on to this piece. Okay. And then this one will sit. This is going to be my inside piece. So that's why I can go have a little less of a border around it. It's quite all right. So we'll put that right on the inside. And I like the navy blue with the Night of Navy with the early espresso and the crumb cake. It's kind of masculine colors, but I just think they're such rich colors, and I like how they look together. And early espresso is coffee, right? I mean, and so this designer series paper, I don't know if I mentioned it, is from the Earth and Elegance. There again, it's brown and it looks like coffee, and I love coffee. If you know me, you know I love coffee. All right, put that right on here, just like that. Okay, so here's the trick that we're going to do. We are going to mount this on here, but we're only going to adhere it to this bottom portion so that when they get it, when your friend gets it, they're going to be able to stand it up like that. Okay? So we're going to put some adhesive right underneath the fold line there, and then my last piece is going to go right at the bottom. So I'm putting adhesive on both pieces, but this way we can make sure we don't get it on somewhere where it's going to seal it shut, right? Just like that. And the Let's Get Together Soon is going to be mounted onto there. And we'll put some dimensionals on the back of that to make that stand up. And that is going to go on the inside. And wherever you put it is how high your easel will stand up. So I'm actually going to put it towards the bottom, because then my easel stands up like that. Okay? And then when you close it, it's just like that. Now, I'm going to take this one, and I'm thinking, I was like, do I want a bow? Do I not want a bow? And I think I am gonna go, I think I'm gonna go without a bow. That's my executive decision, but I will add some kind of bling. Let's see here. And I'm not even going to poof this up. I'm not putting dimensionals on the back. I know, right? And the reason why is because I want to be sure I can mail this to a friend. So there we go. Let's find some embellishments. How do I store my embellishments? Like that. Ooh, those are nice. I don't think I have any navy anything. Nope. So these are the neutral adhesive back dots. I really like them. I really like these dark brown ones, and I like the copper. Silver and gold, very nice also. Brown and copper, my personal favorites in the pack, as you can tell. So let's, whoa Nelly, let's put one there. How about like that? I like that. Oh, so there is the finished card. Let's get this out of here. So this is what you will need to make that card, and then of course it stands up like that. So it sits nicely like that. So that is my easel card. So, like I said, it doesn't look at all like Pat's, but it is Pat's fold. Here is the other card that I made, very similar to this one. You're always so good to others, so be good to yourself too. This is the In the Moment stamp set, and this one I made so it really doesn't sit up super high at all. But I liked it. I like the colors. Same exact folds. I think like I said, the crease, it's not too detrimental where you put that fold, right? It just, so those are my two cards. And I like them both. And I didn't color either one of them. I did burnish or use the blending brush a little bit on that also. I just liked how it looked to do that. So flip the camera back around and say goodbye. So I hope you guys try that one. It is a fun, there it is. Like, I'm hitting the button, it's not turning. It is a fun fold, but it's a pretty simple fun fold, and I think it's got a lot of wow. So that's what it looks like. So if you were to sit, I mean, can you imagine just, you're sitting on your desk and it's just there, and I just think it's fun. Anyhow, I digress. I appreciate you watching tonight. If you have any questions or need anything, please feel free to drop me a line. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you could give me a thumbs up, that would be great. I will see you back here next Friday night. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.